Hi everyone, thanks once again for tuning in to Smash Factor TV. Today we're having a look at consistency. It's one of the biggest things people will come into the studio and ask me to help them improve. Consistency when it comes to the length they can hit the golf ball, the strike they get on the club face and the accuracy that they can produce. And getting those scores more consistent is going to be made up of all of those three elements. So let's go and have a look at my top 3 tips for helping you become more consistent as a golfer. Hi everyone, and thanks once again for tuning in to Smash Factor TV. My name's Natalie Adams. Today we're going to have a look at how to help you become more consistent, and I'm going to give you my top 3 tips to improve that consistency. It's something that a lot of people will come in and say that they want to improve. They're generally hitting the ball okay, but they can throw in that top shot, that fat shot, or they can hit the ball out quite well and then turn it over to the left or leave it out to the right. So we want to look at consistency, and we want to look at consistency in terms of helping you strike much more consistently from the center of the club face, because that really will affect power and directional control. We want to look at consistency in terms of the length that you hit the club. It's no good hitting, just as an example, your 7-iron 150 yards on one shot and then 120 yards on the next shot and then 170 yards on the next shot. So we need to know lengthwise what kind of distance we're going to consistently produce. And also we need to work on accuracy when we're looking to becoming more consistent with our golf swing and with our golf game. It's no good hitting some shots left, some shots right, some straight, or just getting one of those that varies. So good shots are going pretty straight and on the target, but then every now and again you can pull one over to the left, or similarly you can block one out to the right. It makes it difficult to know where to aim. So first thing we need to talk about here is, to get consistent, we've got to get that golf club coming in from an optimal position as it's approaching that ball. All that golf ball responds to is this golf club head. So all that this golf ball knows is how the golf club head is approaching from around this position here. So we want to work on getting that golf club into this kind of optimum position where we've got the club head on the inside of the target line, we've got the correct loft and the correct face angle on the golf club there as well, so that as you go through the ball, all you need to do is rotate your body. You'll deliver that golf club back to the ball, club head in the best position, so you're going to get the best shot. If you're not in that position, so if you're not in this kind of optimum position here, if you've got the club head more back here, club face more closed, if you've got the club head out on the far side of the target line, club face more open, you're going to have to make a compensatory move to get a connection between the club head and the ball. And it's that compensatory move and your ability to time the connection with that compensatory move that gives you the inconsistency. If your timing is good and you're on point that day, you're timing it well, you'll hit quite nicely. But if your timing is gone, you're under a touch more pressure, you're trying that little bit harder, you'll lose the ability to make that correction and time the connection on the ball at the same instant. And please remember to hit the subscribe button and click notifications. We release 2 videos every week. They're all geared up to help you get better at golf and to enjoy the game more when you're next out on that golf course. So I'll put a link in the video here which talks about going from the top of the swing here into this kind of position here, into the slot, if you like, just before you're approaching the golf ball. And what we want to work on here is that we've got the shaft quite parallel to the ground, as hands are in front of your right thigh, kind of feeling between the thighs. Shaft's also pretty parallel to the target line, and we've got the club face slightly turned towards the floor, so it's parallel to the plane line and aiming at the ball. And then we've got pressure going into that left foot, we've got the left side of the pelvis moving backwards, the right side of the pelvis moving forwards towards the ball. So we're rotating that lower body. We can then rotate the chest and deliver the arms through the club. That club head's going to approach the ball just from the inside of the target line. We've got the club face in a really good position relative to that path, and you're going to hit a little draw. It's going to be very much under control. You could do it the other way if you just want to hit a little fade all the time. But the main thing is to try and get the club into this slot position, because the closer you can get to that position there before you strike the ball, the more consistent you're going to be. So we're going to talk initially about balance. Balance is really, really important if we want consistency. I see a lot of players who I work with who will set up and they're maybe too far away from the ball, so they're already in the toes. Or when they take the club away, they move the club in a way that they end up too much in the toes, and at the top of the swing again too much in the toes, and that's going to give us lots of issues on the downswing with how you can actually move the pressure in your feet and rotate your pelvis. So I'll put a link in the video here to help you get into a really good setup position that will ensure that you're balanced to start with, and then I'll also put a link in the video as well for you to have a look at how we want the pressure to move in your feet so that you keep your balance really well. So we're looking for, if you're hitting an iron, just a touch more pressure in left side, so 55% in your left foot compared to 45 in your right. Toes to heels, we want to feel the weight in the middle of the feet, and then as we start the backswing, we want to pressure into the right heel. So we're going right heel and more left toe. So that gives us a good rotation in the pelvis, and then we can rotate the upper body against that into a 90-degree from start position. And that'll set us up really well. We'll be balanced when we get to the top, and then we can work on that downswing movement and get into, again, that optimum position as we approach the ball. The other thing we need to work on, if we're going to be consistent, is swing plane. So that's just the angle that you set the shaft of the club to the floor at setup. So again, the link that I mentioned earlier about balance will help you get into a good start position. So it will have you set in the shaft to a good relationship with the ground. And as we swing back, we want to ensure that we're rotating from the core so that we stay on plane as we swing that club back. So again, I'll put a couple of links in the video here to help you with that start movement away. We're looking to turn the core to pull the handle and the hands around to your right, but we want to keep the club head just on the forward side of the hands as we're looking here, and we don't want to see the arms pushing out away from the body, or similarly the club head dropping too far behind the hands too early. That will give you an issue then of the angle that you can set the shaft at. So if you push away, you'll tend to have to set it quite steeply, and then you're trying to correct that on the downswing. If you get into this kind of position, again, as you get to the top, you'll be more across the line at the top. So as you swing back down, you're having a fight to get back to this parallel to target line position here. So really important that we start the swing well and that we set the angle of the shaft relative to our plane line. Again, have a look at the links through for more detail on that, but that should help you to keep the shaft parallel as you get to the top with the with the target line, and then you'll swing back down and find it much easier to get back into this parallel to the target line position, this optimum position, to then release the club through from. Have a go looking at those links and working on improving your balance and improving your swing plane, and it really will help you get a lot more consistent. My final little point here is when you're out on the course, it's really important to have a good routine so that you know you're getting set up well to the target. So my final tip for becoming more consistent would be to have a really good pre-shot routine. Again, I'll put a link in the video here that will help you with pre-shot routine. But what you want to focus on doing is before you go to hit the ball, imagine where you want the ball to start. We're going to pick a spot just ahead of the ball that's on line with where we want the ball to travel out. I'm now going to come in, I'm going to aim my club face at that point that I've picked. I'm not setting myself up yet, I'm just focusing on the club face at this point. Now I'm going to put my hands on, so really good grip. And now I'm going to set my feet up so I can get my ball position correct and I can get into a really good posture. And if I do that repetitively and consistently, it's really going to help me to hit much better golf shots. So start to get that into your game, work on that the next time you're at the range, but it will help you to become a lot more consistent. It's another game-changing golf coaching tip.